In this video, I want to walk through a simple example of saving for retirement and spending in retirement. Imagine you're a wealth manager, a new client walks into your office. What questions do you need to ask that new client? Those will be here in the inputs. First question, what is your current wealth? $100,000. Then we're going to think about your pre-retirement. We're going to say very simply that in pre-retirement you want to be in a riskier portfolio, and post-retirement a safer portfolio. We won't go into the details and arguments about that, but just for our purposes, safe post-retirement, risky pre-retirement. So the return is going to be 12%. This is not an expected return. We're going to unrealistically and magically say you're going to get 12% every year with no risk. Clearly that's not possible. You're going to deposit $15,000 every year. You're going to retire in, let's say, 17 years. See how the rows magically appeared? That's up to you to decide exactly how to do that. I'm going to give you the building blocks at the end of the video to show you how you can actually do that. Then post-retirement, you're going to get 5%. You're going to have an annual drawdown of 75,000, not a million, 100,000, whatever amount that happens to be, and you're going to retire and then live for another 15 years or 10 years or whatever. So those numbers change. And notice the ending balance of your saving for retirement is the same as the beginning balance spending for retirement, regardless of how many years it is till you retire. Same thing right there. So we have to think about how to make that work. But first, let's go through the math. Simply, the beginning balance, and think of that as today, is $100,000 we put into this investment account. The proceeds at the end of the year, so don't think calendar year, but a year from today, you're going to have 12% times the amount that you put in the account today. We're not putting in monthly. We're going to keep it simple. We're just going to put in every year. So today you have $100,000. It sits there earning 12% for a year, and you have $12,000. You deposit every year some amount, $15,000, so that's a year from today. So the end, exactly 1 year from today, you have 100 plus 12 plus 15, or $127,000. The beginning of next year, which is the same as end of this year, is the ending balance from the year before, that 127. Proceeds, same thing, 12% now of the 127, same deposit, same ending balance, or same formula for the ending balance. Then at the end of my working life, now I'm going to retire, live well. This $1.4 million now becomes the beginning balance in my retirement account now that I'm retired. The proceeds are the exact same. A year from my retirement date, I've invested this $1.4 million at 5%. I get $70,000, and I take out $100,000 to live on for the year. The ending balance is exactly the same as the saving, except I subtract the withdrawal instead of adding the withdrawal. So that's the math for it. The other thing that you need to be able to do is make the years magically appear and disappear. And by the way, notice the red formatting I have there. I think visually, rather than having a negative sign, I like to have the red so I can immediately see that that's negative. And here I can see the endowment immediately is negative. So I'm just going to make sure I have enough years to make this positive, so I'll feel better about myself. So there are a few functions you need to know. Of course, the F function, so you're going to do some type of F statement, and you're going to do it with a row. How do I know that the years stop in 15 and don't go to 16 because of this? So I need to know what row I'm in. If I do equal row, that tells me I'm in row 19. I don't have anything in there, but it tells me I'm in row 19. So if I'm in row 19, that's when things need to stop, and they need to have a blank line. The blank you can use just with two quotations. Quotation, space quotation is completely different. It doesn't appear visually to be different, but if you do quote, quote, that gives me a blank. Quote, space quote gives me a blank. But those to Excel are two different things. So you need to combine the F statement, the row function, and being consistent with your blank space with either the double quote or the quotes with a space, either one. And that will allow these cells to appear to be empty even though technically there's a blank space in them. And once you go down to 50 years for each. Now the offset function. In order to pick up this endowment, I know it needs to be from right here, so how can I do that? When that's moving, offset is a really cool function. Do equal offset, and you have some reference. You can pick any spot you want to for a reference. I'll pick this spot right here, just at random. And then the rows, I can go down 5 rows. And so that's going down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the number of columns. If I want to go to the left, I make it negative 4 columns. And you see the height and width have those brackets. We're not going to deal with the height and width right now, so it's going to be close enough. And that's 50,748, which is this number right here. So if we start here, go down 5 rows, back over 4 columns, we get to this point. So you can use offset to dynamically pick this up, and offset to dynamically pick that up. Exactly how? I can't just hand it to you on a silver platter. You're going to have to think about that a little bit.